Because I start BSing with people and having a great time. Next thing I know, I got to hit record. And then sure enough, there is always one person when I am done. I always get a direct message. Hey man, sorry I wasn't out there. You know, the cat ate the rat and the dog has my homework and I'm trying to get it out of the school teacher's mouth. They got all these million and one excuses. And it's like, what did I miss?
Right.
So I want to make sure, I do those guys justice by recording this and making sure, that we get mass, dissemination of information. And guys, those of you that are out there that are hearing my voice, if you have questions, please feel free, to unmute and ask those questions, because this is truly going to be a kickback, laid back session. I mean, this is cannabis, so we got to keep it cool no matter what, So I had the good fortune. Now, me and Otha have never met in person, but we have exchanged, several phone calls and whatnot. And, I think he is doing some great things in this space. And whenever I encounter someone who's doing great things in this space, I always try to highlight them, because the rising tide rises all the boats in the harbor, and I want to make sure that that's always happening in this space, especially on the product side, because what you guys are going to find, and I find, owning 28 Facebook pages myself is not a small feat. Okay. I'm just going to tell you straight up, it is not a small feat. And I personally don't believe in letting people advertise their products on my pages, especially if I don't know you. I don't know what you stand for. I don't know, if you're doing full panel testing on your stuff. I don't know if you're just doing potency. I don't know any of that crap. And you know what? I'm not going to waste the time to figure it out, because I don't know you. But here's what I know for sure. When I had my cannabis testing laboratory open here in Texas, registered with the DEA and everything, there were certain people that would have their products tested with me all the time. And I could always vouch for the efficacy of those products because I saw what was coming in. Right. So those people, I will allow them from time to time, to put a little advertisement, out there on my pages for certain things. I know my products, me and Dr. Lie's products are high efficacy because I used to do testing for our stuff, all the time. So I know these are great products. I know they're full panels done. I know all the residual solvents and heavy metals and whatnot are not a part of these products. But see, here's the thing about it. A product or a platform like what Otha has put together is perfect for you guys that are always trying to get free advertising on my page, and I turn it down, right? But if you meet certain criteria, your products will be perfect for a platform like Otha's, because he is truly, not only has he put a platform together, he put an app together, guys, for products where you can have your products rated, so to speak, by other people that are using your products, and actually go onto this platform and find products that are in your local area that are at these dispensaries or wherever the case may be, to see what other people are saying. And, the cream rises to the top. So that's what I am trying to be a good steward of, because I believe in this space, right? I believe in products, but I only believe in good products. I don't believe in shitty products. And if I don't know if your product is good or not, I'll be damned if you're going to put my name and my reputation on the line, for that. So I couldn't be happier to introduce, Otha Smith to you guys, because he's truly done something wonderful. And, I wanted to give him a chance to tell you guys about it and, see if there's some type of synergy that's out there. So Otha, with that being said, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah. Right. Preach on, man. Preach on.
Don't get me started, brother. I get some holy water out and I'll sprinkle it all over myself. We be out here 3 hours.
No doubt.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming out here, and thank you for your contribution to this space, with Tetragram. And man, I just want to start off by asking, bro, where'd you come up with this concept from? Like, what made you talk to me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, man, appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk to you beautiful folks tonight. Watching the football games taking place is really exciting. Bills are coming back with a vengeance. But yeah, so I'm based Otha Smith. I'm the CEO, founder of Tetragram. I'm based out of Baltimore. And I came up with the idea for Tetragram really out of my own self-need. So, I've always been an entrepreneur, I started my first company when I was in high school. That was a detailing company. We started detailing cars initially, then it grew to boats, small planes, motorcycles. And I was fortunate enough to put myself through college with that company. But,
Uh-huh.
running a small business, I had like 15 people working for me at the
Check,
time. So
check,
it was like
test,
always
test,
open,
check.
never close.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, what happened was in 2006, I was involved in a really tragic car accident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, was coming home late with a couple of friends from dinner. They were, of course, were all passed out in the car, and it's about a 40-minute drive from DC back to my house, and I fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh, man.
Fell asleep at the wheel 5 minutes from my house, was ejected about 30 feet, and pronounced dead on the scene.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, man. Like, luckily for me, you probably can see the scar there.
Yeah.
But that's 46 staples, man. So, my family is from Barbados, so we've always been like very, plant-based, holistic therapy when it comes to anything. And so, I could count on one hand how many times I've used like any type of prescription pills or anything until I got into this accident.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got into the accident, luckily for me, a good friend of mine who, was in the car accident, walk away unscathed, minor bumps and bruises, but she was going to school to become a doctor at John Hopkins, which she is today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's her grace that like ran to my aid and to the helicopter ride to perform CPR.
Wow.
But all that being said, once I made it, got released from the hospital months later, diagnosed as suffering a traumatic brain injury, I was just prescribed a trash bag full of opioids, bro. Like a trash bag full of them, like Xanax, Oxycontin. I mean, I even was prescribed methadone at one point, which is like
Oh,
outrageous.
Jesus. Woo.
Um, yeah, dude. I mean, that's what
And
they
they
give.
say weed. They say weed will kill you.
That's a heavy hitter right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they give people who are coming off of heroin, right?
Yeah.
So.
That or cancer.
Exactly. So I started diving back into cannabis, man. After 3 years of getting a monkey on my back, I was like, you know what? Something's got to give. And I started using cannabis again because I was using it, sporadically throughout high school, throughout college. But I'll never forget, dude, the first time I walked into a dispensary here in Maryland when they legalized their adult program. And I was just blown away. I was hearing terms such as like terpenes, cannabinoids, the endocannabinoid system. And someone
Mhm.
like me who's been around cannabis ever since I was like 15 years old, I was a little egotistical when I walked into the dispensary,
Mhm.
but quickly got humbled when I realized there was so much about this beautiful plant that we didn't know.
Yeah.
So through my conversations with not only other customers, but also speaking to the dispensary staff. And here they are selling you product, but they really don't know what's going to work best for you.
Yep.
And then making inroads with healthcare professionals that believe that cannabis is a great medicine, but at the end of the day, there's still not enough data out there that healthcare professionals can leverage in order to really understand the efficacy of cannabis use.
Mhm.
So that's what led me to create Tetragram, man. So me and my business partners, I can wholeheartedly tell you we had no idea this company was going to turn into what it is today.
Mhm.
But our initial MVP, our minimal viable product, we just wanted to create an app. One, we wanted to make it HIPAA compliant. That was very important to us because people who use cannabis and just people in general these days are very protective over their data, their privacy, and so forth. So we knew we wanted to make it HIPAA compliant. We don't ask for first or last names, but essentially we just wanted to create a platform where people can journal their experiences with these products that they're consuming so that, over time, not only do they become more educated on what's working, what's not working, but they can share those insights with the community at large.
Mhm.
And that's really was the initial concept, man. And then it just blew up like wildfire.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I remember, I've known about this, for a couple years now. And, we've been kind of, hit or miss here and there with some of our communication. But I've always thought it was an amazing concept. And it just dawned on me out of the blue. Like that last post, one of those posts that I saw from you for that PTSD study, that people are starting to partake in. And it just dawned on like the heavens opened up and I just had a light bulb moment. I'm like, damn, I own a CBD brand. And myself, Dr. Lyon, my other business partner, we literally I paid for 5 combat veterans that have combat PTSD. I paid for them to go and have brain scans done with none of my formulation in their system at all. And then we gave them a week's supply of the formula and had them go back and repeat the brain scans again. And the cognitive function was showing through the roof, you know? So we had that in a formalized study documented by Dr. Twyla Wilson. And actually, it's actually on our website. You know, those who catching the recording, if you want to go to www.activedutyrx.com, you'll see it out there. There's a section called QEEG study. But when I saw what you posted, I was like, man, this could be perfect for us, because not only have we already performed some legitimate research, now it's not a double blind or triple blind study, or man, you know, like I'm a poor dude from Alabama, dude. I got enough money to pay for 5 people. You know, I don't have, you know, all this crazy money to do all. Now if somebody wants to, you know, give us some dollars to tap into that and do that additional research, cool. But I just was like, man, this would be a good way to get, you know, this information out to the people through something like Tetragram. And it got me thinking, how many other people out there have great products and are doing great things and need a tie into something like what you have? And I was like, man, we got to pull this off. We got to make this happen. This is perfect, you know?
Yeah, 100%, man, because and I commend you wholeheartedly for taking the extra steps to actually conduct those studies and see the impact in real time about what your products are doing with people who suffer from PTSD. Because I mean, you know how it is out here. It's the Wild West, especially in you know, whether you're in the regulated or the unregulated CBD market, where people are slapping these claims on these products saying they're good for X, Y, and Z, but haven't done any due diligence to really understand if it
Yep.
is living up to
Yep.
that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, to your point, like this is our third study that we've done, our second actually on PTSD. And it's fascinating. To your point, like we've had tons of brands reach out and be like, hey, we want to be part of this research study so that, you know, as consumers are leveraging our products, we want to understand if it's really helping them for PTSD or not. So, you know, right now we have 150 participants in the study.
Nice.
Yeah, we're aiming for 300. So,
Okay.
you know, we're getting more and more participants by the week. So, I'm excited about it. I really am, because, you know, being so close to DC, you know, it just drives me nuts because, of course, I got a lot of friends, family members that are in the services, given how close we are to the capital.
Right.
And for the VA to still like, you know, have be deaf tone to this type of
Yeah.
cannabis medicine is just it's really frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And you know, one of the things that I find, you know, interesting, like I said, I'm not, you know, I'm nobody, but you know, I know, you know, one of the past stance that I've seen with the VA, right? They haven't wanted people to necessarily fail drug testing, right? So the main cannabinoid that's addressed on the drug test, the 5 panel or the 10 panel, you know, that they actually do for drug testing is THC, you
Right.
know. But, you know, and a lot of people are looking into THC, but the thing that a lot of people don't realize is CBG has the ability to target some of the same receptors in the body as THC, but there's no psychoactive component to it, or no psychoactive effect, you know, to it. And I know my buddy, you know, Kelvin James is out here listening in right now. That's part of the strategy that I'm going to unveil to him when we talk, is talking about things like CBG. So there's so much that can be done and so much needs to be learned. And this is just the very beginning, you know?
Oh, 100%. I mean, who knows? I mean, you know, 10 years from now, we might look back and be like, cannabinoids and terpenes, what were we thinking? You know what I mean? Like we really
Yeah.
don't know. We're scratching the surface. But I mean, when you look at our data model, so, you know, for instance, when a customer downloads our app, buys a product, cannabis or CBD, and they start to journal their session with that product, you know, the main thing we really have spent a lot of time in our user experience of the application is making sure that we can gather the terpene and cannabinoid, what I call the T's and C's. Because,
Mhm.
you know, as a data company, we really don't care about what the product name is because we know that has zero bearing on what the impact can be. You know,
Right.
our data model looks at the terpenes and cannabinoids, and then we couple that with the consumption method and the dosing amount to see what that's equaling.
Hmm.
And so as we have users go through our journey on our app, you know, we will ask, you know, of course, where they made the purchase, what the product is, but more importantly, we really want to know what are those T's and C's. And it's just, you know, I will say that's probably the most frustrating part of our business is gathering that information because there's no standardization across the country when it relates to testing lab requirements. Like, you know, here in Maryland, I'm fortunate enough that legislation was passed due to our influence, I will add that every product has to have all the T's and C's clearly listed on it, or
Mhm.
they have to have a QR code that takes people directly to the
There
COA.
you go. Boom. Yep.
But we know that's not the case across the country. And so
Really
as
not.
we had these conversations with state regulators, because as you can imagine, right, like they have all the state data from metrics, so they know how much has been sold, what's been sold in X, Y, and Z. But us layering this, what I like to call intentional data, understanding the consumer's intent behind the purchase and then the outcome associated, really paints a clear picture.
Right.
So I tell the state, I'm like, selfishly, you're doing me a favor as a data company, but more importantly, you need to do the general public a favor by making this information readily available. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, right? Like if I were to say, "Hey, fellas, let's all grab dinner. Let me know what your allergies are." You would run the list and tell me what those are. And if I went to the grocery store and I couldn't read the nutritional facts, I could potentially get one of you guys sick, right? And so
Right.
that's kind of like the playground that we live in when it comes to cannabis. It's very unfortunate.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And I didn't know what you wanted to do. Like, do you have a few slides prepared, or did you want to do a demo of the app? Like, what this is
Yeah,
your
yeah. Let
show.
me
What do you want to do?
yeah, I'll share my screen and show you the customer journal. So this is, uh, to be clear, so when we engage in the industry with partners, right? With dispensaries, we really just leverage them to promote our product to the consumer. So, we have about 450 dispensaries nationwide that promote our products. Some are the largest in cannabis.
Mhm.
But we really drive our value with healthcare professionals. So actually earlier last week, I had a really exciting call with Athena Health. So now we're starting to, chart that path into merging Tetragram into electronic health record systems. So
Nice.
yeah, Epic will be next on the list. But
Yeah.
Athena Health was really receptive, which was awesome because I didn't know as soon as we threw out the word cannabis if they were going to throw up the red flag and be like, nope, 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 we're not talking about this.
666 mark of the beast.
Yeah, but it's called the Athena Health Marketplace where they have, third-party aggregators like, leverage their API. So it was a very fruitful call. But I say all that to say like we sell our platform directly to healthcare providers, as well as state regulators and insurance companies, believe it or not. So
Mhm.
let me show you what this looks like.
As you're doing that, I saw Dr. Lai. He unmuted his mic for a second, so I didn't know if he had a question that he wanted to ask or not. If
Yeah, I
so,
was just curious. You had your meeting with Athena Health, and are they going to expand that out to other EHR platforms, or just, with their own platform?
As of right now, it was just our first preliminary discovery call, but it seems like, from that discussion with theirs, but there is opportunity to expand to others. So, one of the things that we have to do is find a healthcare provider that, we have a relationship with to use as a pilot. So, Tristan, if you're on that network, please let me
Dr. Lai.
Yeah, unfortunately, I use Advanced MD when I started my clinic. That was like about 3 years ago. And when you start with one EHR system, you develop all these patients and you get this huge database. And then if you switch over, it's like really costly to try to transfer all that data over. So I'm kind of like stuck with Advanced MD, which it works. It worked for me as a startup, and continues to work. So, but yeah,
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, I'd be interested to see if that's something that you guys merge with, or integrate with Advanced MD. Then yeah, I'll be happy to do a little pilot. But
yeah, I
also
mean,
one more thing I want to know. Do you know Deandra Asike by chance?
absolutely. Yeah, that's my
Oh yeah.
homegirl. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Her
Yeah.
and I are very close.
Well, Deandra and I were residents together, so
Oh, no
Nice.
kidding. Okay.
yeah. So I know Deandra very well. So I just
Yeah, I
I
was.
I I figured, being in Maryland, you probably know her because she's in the weed space too.
Oh yeah. She's awesome. She's a rock star. She actually, so over the summer, the New York Times published an article on my company because I'm a big athlete too. I run about 5 miles every day and compete in, marathons and so forth. And I always leverage cannabis as pre and post recovery. So she actually got me introduced to someone from the New York Times, and that's how that whole story got ran from Deandra. So
Oh,
really
Nice.
very
great.
cool.
Yeah, that was
Well,
really great
tell
publicity
her
for
I
us.
said hi.
I definitely will. Definitely will. But this, what you're looking at right now is the back-end portal that we developed specifically for healthcare providers. So, again, HIPAA compliant. But as you know, a patient conversing with my physician, if we were to do it virtual like it is today, like a telehealth, all I would have to do is take a screenshot of my QR code and text it or email it to you. Or if we're in person, I would just simply put my QR code up to your scanner and then you would scan this in. So every user who has our app has their own QR code. I don't know if you can see that built into their profile. And that stores all their information. And so, Tristan, if you were my physician, I'd be like, hey, Doc, great to see you again. I've been using Tetragram as you recommended. Let's take a look at what I've been doing. So you would hit this scan button. Let me scan that. Disconnect my camera real quick. So once you scan your patient's QR code, it then pulls in what we like to refer to as their cannabis medical chart. So now a physician has at their fingertips access to all the activity that their patient has been doing under the influence of cannabis. Again, we put this timer in here, so the minute that physician scans it, they have access to it for 30 minutes. Of course, if that conversation goes longer than that, the patient will just have to supply you with another QR code. But now you can see, we break it into these buckets. So you got like health goals that your patient is looking to address with cannabis, psychological conditions, pain conditions, and physical conditions. And then these numbers here represent the amount of products or just sessions, as we refer to them, that I've used a cannabis or CBD product specifically to try to treat these conditions. So as I mentioned, I'm a big runner. So like joint pain is very real in my life, especially at the ripe age of 43. So
wait till you get to 47.
I know like these aches, I'm like, shit, I've never felt this before. But as a physician, you would be able to click on that 14. And then what it does below is it breaks down those 14 sessions into the consumption method first. So now the physician can see exactly, which consumption method that patient has been using most frequently. And then they can drive this because this is hyperlinked. So once the physician clicks on this, it breaks down the strain type of those products that have been consumed through inhalation, but it also breaks down the product type. So like me, I'm old school. Like I just love flower, direct impact, love the taste of good flower. So, that's going to be my number one thing. But there's also like butter in here because I use some concentrates at times. But what this also shows is below, you get to see all those products that patient has used, how many times they've utilized it, what was their rating out of 5 stars. We already know what the reason they were using it for joint pain, but now we start to really dive into like, all right, so what did the patient think about the flavor of that product? Who was the cultivator of it, which is very important, right? Because in our estimation, there might be, especially Blue Dream. Blue Dream is the most common cannabis flower, and there might be over 500 cultivators in the United States that have a product called Blue Dream. So, of course, inherently, all 500 of those Blue Dreams are going to be different. They're going to have different terpenes, different cannabinoids, and different effects ultimately. So we want to know which cultivator that is growing a Blue Dream that is being most effective. But there's another challenge there because names get switched all the time. But that's why we need that COA. But this is where we also drive into understand like what was the feeling of that product, both positive and negative from that patient's lens. How much time did it take to treat that patient's condition, and how long did that relief last? And this becomes very important when we start to think about edibles, right? Where people get impatient, they wait 15 minutes, and next thing you know, they're eating more. They're calling 911 because they didn't cleaned out the fridge. You know what I'm saying? So, the more we could put at the patient's fingertips, the better they are understanding and what that onset time might be. But also, it really helps the physician say, all right, if you're going to take this cannabis edible, this is how long you can expect that duration of time to last. But more importantly, this is where we pull in the terpenes and cannabinoids. And you got to excuse this. We're actually moving these zeros to dashes so it's easier on the eyes. But as you can see, I buy products across the country, get products shipped to me across the country for us to test. And so this is what's the troubling part of gathering right now. But as the industry matures, we're making headways with our technology to be right there. But this is exciting, right? Because this is the type of information that healthcare providers are looking for. Because so much information gets lost in translation when a patient goes to buy a product and then they circle back to their doctor a week later, or more in most cases, like 2 months later, and the doc's like, "So what's been working? Shit, I don't remember." And so this provides a clear roadmap. But the thing I'm really excited for that we're starting to really dive into is, since we reached a good point in terms of the amount of data that we collected, is leveraging our AI technology so that it can start to analyze the data very quickly and then start to make recommendations down to a T's and C's perspective. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. That
Uh,
is
yeah, I mean, this is like our big selling point. You can also, if I clicked on orally, then of course there shouldn't be any strain type because orally edibles are just straight THC or CBD. But of course you can see that there. And then if we wanted to show like all the data that we've collected across the country, we have numerous ways to do that. One way a physician can do that is this way, where they can drill it down based upon any condition that our users have entered into Tetragram, ratings associated or product names. So like one that's always fun is like anxiety is always like the number one reason people use cannabis. I can drill it down to 5 stars. Oops. Apply that. And then I just see tons of product that people have used across the country. And this just keeps going and on. And this shows how many products are out there that aren't even matching. Like in most cases, maybe we'll see a product used 15, 20 times, but it's just so many products out there. It's like, it's fascinating. And then this is another way we can look at it too, is this gets more hyper focused in terms of health goals and conditions, so more of a medical aspect here. But one of the things that's really fascinating that we're doing is demographic information. So if you guys are familiar with New Frontier Data, they're probably one of the biggest data companies that collect point of sale data, clean it up, and then sell it back to dispensaries. Well, we partnered with them because we're collecting data that hasn't really been collected before, not in this way. And so now we can drive it from a demographic perspective to see, based upon a different consumption method, what race, ethnicity, age group, or gender are gravitating towards certain methods. So this is really eye-opening to see. Any
that is
questions?
great. Wow.
That is amazing. I mean, this is all that data that you're collecting. I mean, that is gold.
Yeah, I never thought someone who dropped out of college, I did eventually graduate, would be in this seat right now, but I'm having like a call once every quarter with NIH. But life is a beautiful thing, and you never know what's around the corner. But I appreciate you, because a lot of people, when I was building this company back in 2014, thought I was crazy. But now we're showing the real power of this type of data.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely. This is awesome. It's amazing. I think, from a healthcare, provider standpoint, I mean, this will be, something that, we can definitely utilize, especially with, cannabis being more widely used and among the states, other states that have legalized it. We're in Texas, so unfortunately we haven't legalized it yet. But I mean, it's definitely something that, from a healthcare standpoint, we could, guide our patients. So I've had multiple patients tell me, I believe in the therapy of THC, and I tell them, yeah, get THC or, CBD, whatever. And they're like, well, what should I get? What works best for this? What works best for that? And, I mean, I have like some knowledge, and I can say, well, there's different strains. There's, the sativa, you got indica, but you just really need to do your research. But, I don't have any place to guide them to the research, and now I do.
boom.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. All this anecdotal data that we're collecting becomes really powerful once you get enough of it. And then coupling that with, the research that we're doing, like the one we were that he mentioned with the IRB approval that we got, John Hopkins, which is in our backyard, we got that big NIDA grant for like 7 million, and so we're going to be contributing a lot of data to that as well. So it's only an upward moment from here. But we definitely need the industry just to play ball a little better and understand like certain things need to be in place just so that, again, not only us as a company can thrive, but just so the consumer can just be, more educated. Because, when I talk to the dispensaries and they're always like scratching their head wondering why a customer comes to a dispensary, makes a purchase and never comes back, chances are is because they got a bad recommendation, right?
Mhm.
That tends to lead it, because when a customer goes into a dispensary, I tell them all the time, make no mistake about it, a customer is going based upon two motives. One is they're looking for a product to treat a certain medical condition, or they're looking for a product to create a certain experience. And dispensaries aren't spending the time to really like dive into like, what are you looking for? How do you want to feel, or what are you looking to treat? Those should be the first two questions a dispensary staff agent asks, and then lead that sale process going that way. And so I know I'm preaching here, but it's
Oh, dude, hey, look, I'm gonna start calling you Brother Otha because you with me. Like we preaching the gospel tonight. I mean, and another thing that I feel is important to understand too is like everybody has different endocannabinoid deficiencies.
Mhm.
Yours are not mine, mine are not yours. We're all different, so it does take a little bit of experimentation, so to speak, at first to figure out what's going to work best for your said, for your given conditions. So you're going to have to try a few things, and that's just how it is. But being able to have data and research, that people can dive into, it truly helps. And I see Theo unmuted. So Theo, do you have a question for us?
Yes, I do, man. JJ, thanks for putting this on, man. You always doing some terrific events for putting us all on
Ooh.
notice.
Hey Theo, ooh, I think you got two open at the same time. I know exactly who I'm talking to. Hey, Theo is coming to us out of Hawaii. All right.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So go ahead, man. You're good now with the background noise.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
good.
I appreciate that. No, thanks for this great information, this opportunity, man, to see what you're doing. My question was around data and research, of course, but as far as with the VA, has the VA nationally or locally showed you any interest as far as your application and your data collection? So I know with PTSD, I mean, our rates are still going up better, you know what I mean, as far as suicide and homicidal ideation when it comes to taking medication and opioids, same opioids you were on for a extended period of time. I mean, the veterans are, whenever we have a issue, they just one pill for every ill. You know what I mean? So cannabis, along with Dr. Shipley's research at the FDA level, what she's been doing at DEA level, opening the access up to research. Has the VA contacted you, or have you have a relationship with anybody with the VA across the nation or there locally?
Yeah, so I don't know when you joined, but I'm based out of Baltimore. So I've had several people, physicians, veterans themselves reach out to the VA, introduce me to people at the VA, their contact, and I get nowhere. I mean, they won't even take a
Yeah.
call with me just to show them what I just showed you guys. And it's disheartening. Like I don't know why that's the case, because if they really want to monitor veterans using cannabis, well, I can deliver that to them on a silver platter. But there's just no interest, man.
Oh,
I
oh, so
just met.
let me help you out with that. Simply because I'm a veteran myself. Dr. Ly's a veteran, Theo's a veteran. He was Navy. And I tell people this all the time. Never be discouraged by what you see with the VA, because we all know the answer already, but we don't realize we know the answer. For instance, if you go to someone's house, you knock on that door, you ring that doorbell, and you hear a dog barking behind the door, it's like, oh shit, they got a dog. I don't know if that dog's gonna like me or not, or whatever the case may be, right? And when they open that door, that dog is like, and even and those little chihuahuas, they're the worst, right? because you go put your hand out to let them sniff you, and they go to nipping that. They want to bite you because you're trying to be nice to them, right? But the minute you say, you know what, screw that dog, I'm not even thinking about that damn dog. When you go sit on the couch, that little bastard will end up in your lap, and you did absolutely nothing, right? So when you're trying to reach out to entities like the VA and you're holding your hand out, hey, I'm not your enemy, come sniff my hand, that's what they do. And it's not necessarily their fault. It's the upper echelon that they're involved with. And they know, they haven't gotten a lot of updated information. Now the VA is always like, they're like 3 years or so to 5 years behind, what a lot of things are happening. So I would say don't be discouraged. Like, let's just keep moving forward, right? Let's just go sit on the couch.
Oh
They're
yeah,
coming.
yeah.
Let's just go sit on the couch. So keep moving forward, doing things like this, bringing people on board like Dr. Lai, Theo, just, veterans, giving them the stories. If we give them enough stories and enough power, it's somebody's coming, man.
Oh no, I 100% agree, and yeah, it hasn't stopped my ambition to continue to knock on that door, right? Because as I always feel like I'm just not the person who is leveraging their connection just doesn't know the right person, right?
Yeah.
In some cases. So it just has to land on the right ear, and then we get
Yep.
then we get the leverage that we need. So
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely not letting off the gas by any means, but it's just frustrating. It's like, why can't we just have one meeting for Christ's sake? You know?
So Otha, let me give you some background on what's going on here. If I'd known you 5 years ago, I would have been your biggest advocate. I would have been, I was in the right place at the right time in the right position. And I don't know if JJ told you, but I used to be the Surgeon General's consultant for pain management for the entire Air Force.
Oh
So I
shit.
was like, I basically had the ear of the Surgeon General. Yeah, we were part of the DoD VA Pain Management Initiative group. So we would meet like once a month. We would talk about, that's how we got acupuncture into the DoD as well as VA. I was one of the first ones in the Air Force to train in acupuncture because that's, when they offered it and said, hey, we need something outside of opioids. I raised my hand and said, hey, I want to learn acupuncture because I want to know what my folks are going to be learning. And so I went through the whole 1 year training of acupuncture, became certified, and I was like, hey, this is definitely something that can be, utilized. And the next year we ended up having like 30 people, trained in the Air Force on acupuncture, physicians, PTs, PAs, etc.
Oh wow.
But right now, I know the Surgeon General's consultant for pain management now, and I've talked with them about this. I've tried to get JJ in there. It just the focus has changed, unfortunately.
Mhm.
A lot of funding has gone away. They don't even have that pain management work group anymore. They don't even meet because there's really no leadership behind it. But I think that, as you know, everything goes full circle. And
Yeah.
so, we were big time, like, when I was the Surgeon General's consultant, I could get, pain management was number one on everybody's list. So I created pain clinics throughout the Air Force. I basically trained a bunch of pain doctors, and the budget was like almost unlimited. Now it's kind of swung the other way. They're like, oh, hey, we don't have enough money. And so they don't even have any focus on it. But I think that it's going to start working its way back around. And when it starts working its way back around, that's when, you'll have the greatest opportunity to bring this up. I still know some folks that are in there. I try to keep my hands and, fingers in some of that politics stuff. But, as long as we just wait it out, eventually these guys might be able to kind of move us in that right direction.
Okay, well, yeah, I appreciate that insight because I was wondering like what the hell's going on? Like, but
It's
it's
just it's just
yep,
timing. Dr. Lai is so right. It's kind of like someone who wants to join the Air Force and they go talk to an Air Force recruiter and they're like, sorry, we're not accepting applications right now. People think that means no, you can't join the military. No, you just came in the wrong time of year. See, you
right.
come closer to October, November when the new job lists are out, they're dying to they're wanting people to fill this stuff, so I think that's a valid point. We just have to keep moving forward. And I also
Yeah.
Asher Williams raised his hand. So Asher, do you have a question for us out here?
Yeah, I do. As a hemp dispensary owner, we're about to be getting into a grow operation coming next year, but ahead of the gun here, as just a hemp dispensary owner. Does this integrate with point of sale system so it could help me not just know what my patients are liking in, but also help me with predicting trends as far as the market or what I should be looking at ordering?
Yeah, great question, Asher. Absolutely. So we are integrated with two of the largest point of sale providers in cannabis, one being Dutchy, the other one being Trees. But we do have companies that are outside of the TAC framework, if you will, and just sell CBD products online. And we still have the ability to integrate with their point of sale systems that they're using for their menus online too. So I'll put my email in the chat in case you want to plug it in. The company that we're integrating right now is Bloom Hemp, and they're based out of California. But they ship CBD across the country, of course. And so, yeah, we could definitely integrate the menus. One of the things I'll show you too, that I've been show you guys that we've been working on, which I'm extremely excited about, is cannabis being covered under a state-ran insurance policy. And I think JJ, I think I might have talked a little bit about this with you, but this is going to make definitely national and international news when this goes live. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So for the last year and a half, this is Tetragram that you're looking at right now. And so within Tetragram, what we've created is groups for people. So people can actually create their own groups. These groups can be private, they can be public. It's completely up to you. And the reason why we created these groups, to be honest with you, is because I woke up one day, after we were spending about $2,000 a month or a marketing agency to solely market us on these social media sites such as Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at the time. Woke up one day, all my accounts were completely shut down and deactivated. This is a common thing that happens in cannabis. One day that bot says, "Hey, today's your day," and they shut down your account. And in some cases, you can get it back. In most cases, you cannot. We were fortunate to get it back, but I say all that to say that that's what motivated me to create this social side within Tetragram, so people can create their own groups, chat back and forth, but also exchange feedback with products that they're consuming. And so luckily for us, we were tapped by the state of Colorado. So just to put this in context, no one knew, but for the last 5 years, the state of Colorado had been working on a framework to have cannabis be covered under a state insurance policy. That how they were the first to have adult cannabis legalized. They want to continue to be a trendsetter, and now their focus is on insurance. So luckily for us, we won that agreement with the state of Colorado. So what we've been doing for the last year and a half, and it's just the pilot we just finished, so we're going to be presenting all this to the governor second week of the new year. But the governor's Department of Health selected one physician, and then we got one patient to participated in this pilot. So what the doctor is essentially doing through our platform is making a recommendation to the patient. Now, the recommendation cannot consist of a specific brand name, and the doctor cannot recommend a certain dispensary for fear of kickback. So essentially, the doctor makes a recommendation down to a formulation. We put this in here too because unfortunately, all too often, customers go to a dispensary with intentions to buy a certain product, whether that be their buddy, healthcare professional, whatever, and they get talked out of it by the sales staff. So we put this disclaimer in there because if the patient buys anything outside of this formulation recommendation, their products aren't covered. But once the patient shows this recommendation to the staff, the dispensary staff, procures the product, they are required to do two things. First off, they're required to take pictures of the product, as well as the receipt, but they're also required to take pictures of their mileage and put that all in this group. So, if you downloaded a Tetragram, you wouldn't be able to see this, of course. But this is showing that one, proof of purchase, exactly what the doctor recommended, and the dispensary that they went to. And from that patient's house to that dispensary back home, that mileage is covered. And so essentially, the patient is allowed to spend up to $350 per month on cannabis products, completely covered by the state of Colorado. Uh,
Wow.
the only thing it excludes is smokable products. So it's only topicals, edibles, tinctures. But this right here, what we're working on is the future of cannabis. And we have Colorado, now the cat's out of the bag. So now we're talking to New York, Connecticut, what's the other state? Georgia, which Georgia's got a long mess before we even get there. And West Virginia. But this is something that we've always talked about as a community in cannabis, is having cannabis be covered, because one of the reasons why we see medical patients dwindling in terms of those populations is because cannabis is expensive, dude.
Yeah.
It's not cheap, and
Yeah.
people can't afford it.
It's still weed when it's all said and done at the end of the day.
Yeah, which is what keeps the black market thriving.
Yeah.
Like in New Jersey, I think they have the highest cannabis prices in the country. I mean, you go in New Jersey, you can't buy an eighth of cannabis under $70.
Yeah. We do have a couple of other questions out. We've got my buddy Marcus Stallings got his hand up. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I got a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I just got a question about the app because I think that's awesome. As a grower, I noticed that you had your strands and stuff like that, but does it says two things? What type of I noticed you said you need a COA. Is that like what type of COA does it register, or is there like a certain type of COA that you would need to qualify for your website?
No. We understand that COAs come in so many different formats. Is one of the exercises we tried using AI to read these COAs. We're making a little bit of headway there, but I mean, any COA you have, regardless of the format or testing facility, we can read those.
Let me help with that because I think this is what he needs to hear. Full panel plus terpene.
Yeah, 100%.
Correct. Correct. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely full panel, terpenes and everything.
Okay. And then is there a fee to register as like, what are the fees associated with it?
Great question.
No fees at all. When we work with brands or cultivators, the only thing we ask is like, hey, slap a COA, slap a QR code on your product, and just encourage your customers to download Tetragram and write a review. And we share that data directly back with our brands, cultivators, for free, because it's a win-win.
That's so crazy. Dude, that is so crazy. You have put all of this crap together, and I want to say another word right now.
For free.
But like, bro, it just blows my mind that you're doing this at no cost for these people. That's crazy.
Yeah, because we're a data company, right? So like we just want to ingest data. And so we don't want to make it a headache or a struggle to gain these relationships. It's like you slap a QR code on your product, people download our app, rate your product, we'll provide you with that data for free. So that's a win-win. You get the consumer feedback and we get more data, more users on our platform. So
bro, just take my product. Like what, just take it. I mean, like for real, that's crazy, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean the upside on selling this data is so tremendous that we can do things like this.
Yeah. Are Marcus, are you good
and
now?
then do you guys have no, I'm about to say in my other question, do you have a way of deciphering what's organic, what's organically grown, organic, and all that type of jargon? Because those, I know those aren't on COAs.
Yeah, that's just additional context we would just gather from you directly.
Okay.
But that's a great question. I mean, we have a couple of growers in Maine that just, this one couple, it's a father and daughter duo, and they grow strains specifically to see how it can help veterans with PTSD. So They grow these products. They have these veterans use Tetragram, and then if it works, they stick with it. If not, they go back to the drawing board and do it all over again. What I like to refer to as this intentional growing, which is where we need to be.
Yeah. Well, I also see that Asher has another question as well. So I just want to make sure you had the opportunity. And before he does it, Asher, are we on like a talk show or a pot? Like your background is interesting, man. I'm curious. Like, are people hearing you got a microphone and everything? Like, what's up?
We're not currently like live on my YouTube or Twitch or anything like that right now. It's just I run my Zoom through my virtual cam, so when
Okay.
I'm interviewing people for it, I can just put them in and record it and just load it right
Okay.
up.
All right. I would have dressed up if I knew I was gonna be,
Actually, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm about to have to pop off here in a minute because of time constraints. I'm about to be doing a recording a featurette to do the post production on tomorrow and have up on Tuesday for reviewing a strain that we have here. But that doesn't have anything to do with my question. Because I ain't trying to waste everybody's time here. I mean, check me out, YouTube, Hotbox Manor. If you got any questions, email me, hotboxmanor@gmail.com. What I wanted to hit up on is I am the director of communications for our Arkansas chapter of Normal. And you was talking about how Colorado is about to be getting that state insurance tip hooked up, man. Um, could you get with me after this and let's do a little bit of discussion? Because I'm currently writing what we're going to put up on the ballot for the proposal for 2026, our reform initiative. Um, I want to see how they did that because I'd like for us to be able to do that here. Just hit me up after this is over, just over email, and let's talk a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking for the chat feature, but I don't see the chat.
The chat feature
Yeah, I
may
don't
be
see a chat
disabled.
option on my
Yeah.
thing either.
Yeah, I did it on purpose because a lot of people try to do a lot of shady, underhanded shit in chats. So I disable that feature so that way all you literally have to do is just like tell one another what your email address is. You know what I'm saying? That way y'all can, reach out to one another directly because like people are going to be people. That's all I'm going to say. But I wanted to make sure you guys have the information that you need to be able to, to connect.
Yeah. So let's clear that air right now. So it's Otha, OTHA at myimsnetwork.com. Or you can always hit me up on LinkedIn too, just Otha Smith III. But yeah, I mean the way these states are structuring this is under the workers' comp fund, which is very interesting. So the workers' comp fund is what's funding these insurance policies that we're working on in Colorado, and it's actually going on in other states. Is very small, and they don't have the technology that we have that really make it a lot more seamless. But yeah, OTHA at myimsnetwork.com. But yeah, I'd love to get with anyone and everyone who's interested in collaborating or let's just make a difference. It takes, as they say, it takes a village, and especially in this country.
And when it comes to Tetragram stuff, guy, don't even DM me. Like, don't hit me up on the side. Like, don't you guys are talking to the man right now. Anything that you ask me in a DM, I got to turn around and bug him and ask him because I don't know. Real talk. So please make sure if you guys need to connect with Otha, y'all know exactly how to do it for what you're trying to get done. Because, like I said, I really don't want to be the limiting factor in the communication process. And I don't want to deal with people's stuff. I just like putting opportunities out there that are legit, real, and I truly appreciate Otha's contribution to this space. So I want to make sure we do him justice and spread the word about this to the masses because this is what's needed to help get our industry streamlined and on track to where everybody's doing great things. I know there are a lot of people out there with great intentions, but the days of doing formulations in your garage and only having a potency test done, and then trying to slap a label on it and say we're good to go. No, we've moved beyond that. So I just want to try to help people do things the right way. So does anybody else have any questions, for Otha while he's out here? I'm going to put somebody on the spot because I just saw she came out here. Hi, Drew. How are you?
Oh my gosh, JJ, are you really calling me out?
Yes, I sure am. I am calling you all the way out. How are you?
If I was camera friendly, I'd be on camera, but I am well. How are you?
That's a pretty picture. It's a beautiful picture you got up.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I know. When I saw Drew, I was like, "What's up, girl?"
I honestly had a really long weekend, and I'm so sorry I'm late. I never like to miss Otha's talks because he's the real deal. JJ's right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is recorded, so when this is over, I'm gonna get the recording posted on my YouTube channel and get it uploaded to all the states as well, so people can go and get the playback, on that. So it's all good there. So Drew, what are your, I know you and Otha already, kind of know one another, but where you're at, you're in the Maryland area also, right?
No,
Right.
I'm in Boston, Massachusetts.
That's right, because you're where my uncle is. I keep forgetting that, man.
How you forget me? I'm the elephant trunk partner.
I know you. Trust me. I know exactly who you are. Please believe. But I was just curious. What do you guys have going on out there? In terms of being able to connect with an opportunity like this.
Well, we after the NOCO conference, which I think a lot of people, I'm in cannabis primarily, and I think a lot of people in cannabis often forget that the plant is the plant.
Yep.
So really understanding, we've been building a CBD topical and beauty line, and really understanding the needs of the multicultural community. We have specific like skincare needs. There's a lot of eczema in our community, a lot of inflammatory diseases. So really understanding the science and getting the feedback. I often tap into Otha when I have a question like, I'm a clinician, I've been a nurse for 24 years.
Mhm.
So when somebody says, hey, I have migraines, what strain is best? I call Otha and I say, you have a database that is invaluable to everyone. What are
Yeah.
people saying is working for this? And I think that that's the part that we often forget, that the data and success leaves clues, and that all the information we need, we're already collecting. Otha is already collecting. So I think it's important to really connect with the source of truth is the people. And Otha's done a really good job at connecting with the people and really just tapping into what do we need for the plant to truly heal people and disrupt healthcare. And I think that that's where I'm leaning into.
Awesome.
No doubt. Me and Drew go back, man, what's it been, 5-6 years now? I was actually going to hit you up because I'll be up in your neck of the woods this weekend. So let's connect.
Absolutely. Pull up.
Nice. Tell Leslie, let's make it happen.
Oh, JJ loves him some Leslie.
Yeah, please be sure to tell Leslie and her trunk fit I said hello.
I sure will.
Oh man, I will never forget. There, look, when I am old and great and in a bed in a nursing home somewhere, y'all can walk in and I'll know exactly who y'all are, and I'll always tell that story. That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh man. Well, we're approaching an hour, and I didn't really put a time cap on how long we were going to be out here, but I really want to be respectful of Otha's time and everyone else's time. Does anyone else have any questions of Otha about Tetragram while we have him out here?
Yeah, I got one more question. I'm glad Miss Drew brought up topicals. Do you guys have, for the Telegram, do you have something on there in reference to topicals, or is it all just cannabis-induced type of database?
So I think you mean, so as a consumer, they can rate any product regardless of the consumption method. So topicals, edibles, tinctures,
Okay.
Even suppositories. So, you
Okay.
know, and we guide the user experience so that, they can select they bought it from a dispensary, online store, just some brick and mortar store, or if it's a homegrown product, right? Like a lot of states are starting to allow home grow, and we know that, a lot of people are, growing these great, cultivars, and they're putting them out there into the public. So, people are able to leverage that too, so that, regardless of how you're getting it, you still have the ability to rate the product.
Nice.
Okay.
Look, Tristan, I know you're muted right now, but I know we are thinking the exact same thing right now because we have a product that would be perfect and would get a lot of immediate feedback. Real talk. You know
Just
what I
just
holla at
texted
your
you,
boy, you
man.
know
I
what I'm
just
talking about.
texted you.
Yep, I'm reading it right now. Yes, you are 100% correct.
Looks like I'll be hearing from you fellas this week.
You bear shit in the woods? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, a lot of my patients love that product, and it's like one of our biggest sellers. So we definitely, we need to get that stuff on Tetragram so we can get that feedback in there.
Challenge accepted.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I got you. Don't even worry. Say less. I got you covered from here.
Hey.
So hey Theo, do you have a question? I saw you unmuted.
Yeah, I had one other question regarding the insurance coverage. Is there anywhere on a website or any information I can read up about? Right now, I'm starting to out here. I'm involved directly with the
Theo, it's kind of hard to hear you between the background noise and I'm not sure if you're on speaker or whatever, but it's pretty difficult to hear you.
Yeah, I think I heard a little bit what we said, but yeah, we haven't publicized any of this information other than me just running my mouth about it because it's a pilot right now. But like I said, some people have been hearing about it, so the cat's out of the bag. But there's nothing that we've actually put out there, officially yet. So more to come. Like I'm itching every day. Me and my team are itching every day just to have this sit down with the governor so that we can iron out the details and get this thing moving forward.
Awesome. Well, Otha, I cannot say enough. They say timing is everything. We've known about each other for a minute, but we're just now putting this connection together. And I thank you so much for taking time, out of your busy schedule, to do this. And on behalf of Active Duty RX, I can tell you straight up, you're going to be hearing from me immediately about some of the things that we're doing. I can't vouch for nobody else, but and Dr. Lai, he just said, please tell Otha I really appreciate his time and presentation. Looking forward to working with him. So, I know we're good to go. I see Drew raised her hand real quick. What you got, girl?
I was just clapping. I was not raising my
you
hand.
were clapping.
Celebrate Otha.
All right.
I appreciate you immensely, Drew. But yeah, JJ, I appreciate you putting this together, man. I mean, one of the things I've learned as I've just gotten older, and especially in this cannabis industry, is that things don't happen when you want them to, and they happen when they're supposed to. And I just lead with that, man. And it's always great. Like I didn't know you knew Drew, and Drew knew you, so it's just another reflection of how people who have the right intentions always seem to find each other in the right place. So,
absolutely, dude. You gotta look. Hey, you gotta have her tell you a story about me, her, and Leslie. It's priceless.
She already, Drew. You already know I'm coming for that info. So,
man,
I appreciate you putting this together, especially on a Sunday. I know it's close to the holidays, so everybody's doing what they can to spend that time with their family and friends. But appreciate you immensely, brother. And let's work.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And the last thing I want to leave people with, and I try to do this from time to time, just to kind of put everybody in the holiday spirit, right? Thanksgiving is a day, guys. Christmas is a day. New Year's is a day. A lot of people have the tendency over the holidays to take their foot off the gas, right? We're talking 3 days, and one of those 3 days is already gone. We got Christmas, and so why lose 2 months over 3 days? You see what I'm saying? And the more momentum you carry with you into this holiday season, the more people you recruit for your endeavors, the more people you bring on board for your opportunity prior to New Year hitting. What does everybody want to do 1 January? They got a New Year's resolution, right? So if you get all these people gathered prior to the new year and you make something jump in your business, no matter what you're doing prior to New Year, guys, you got more people to take with you into the new year because they're motivated, they're excited, and they want to do some new things in their life. So don't take your foot off the gas. Put your foot down on the gas over this holiday season and keep whatever you're doing going, because it's just going to propel you and separate you from everyone else. So with all that said, guys, I truly appreciate your trust in me, your trust in Otha, in coming out here and explaining this to you guys. And I truly thank everyone sincerely for their time. And I hope y'all have a great evening and a wonderful holiday season. Y'all take care.
Peace.
Take care. Bye-bye.